Good afternoon, everybody. Hello and welcome to Friday's Stamp and Chat Live, and in fact to the last Stamp and Chat Live before Christmas. So I'm going to, as always, have a quick look at my iPad and check that I've appeared. You never know until you look. Ooh, let me put the volume down. Here we go, and it looks like I'm there, so that is good. I don't know if anybody else is there yet. Nobody's commented, and it's not telling me that anybody's there yet, so I will just chat until hopefully somebody pops up and can tell me that they can see and hear me okay. So Friday the 17th of December, seems impossible that it's already the 17th of December, doesn't it? I don't know about you, but I'm not ready for Christmas yet. I've shopped, I haven't done all the wrapping, I'm still writing Christmas cards. I need to get those finished this weekend. It was my son's birthday yesterday, which always kind of slows up Christmas preparations a bit, although I have to say not nearly as much as it did when he was small. We have a tradition of not putting the Christmas decorations up until after his birthday, so that's another job for this weekend. Unfortunately, my daughter and her girlfriend are coming back to help us. I'm going to pick them up tonight, and they're staying over. We're decorating tomorrow. We've got my sister and brother-in-law coming up tomorrow afternoon for a traditional Christmas thing that we always do with them. We've all done lateral flow tests and we're all okay, so that will be happening tomorrow. And then on Sunday, those of you who know the little hamlet where I live, we have a village green and we're having a local residents get together there. We normally try to at Christmas time. We of course couldn't do it last year. But we're going to do that this year. We all take our own drinks and food. We will be socially distancing and it's outside. So hopefully that will be a safe but fun thing to do. So that's my weekend all planned out. It's going to be a busy one. Mary is here. Welcome, Mary. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm hoping that you can. So what else? Oh, I'll tell you. Yeah, I've got a list. The weather here is pretty nice today. It's not raining. The thick dark grey cloud cover that we've been having all week has finally broken. I can actually see about 40% of the sky is blue outside my craft room window, so I'm very pleased to see that. I absolutely can't bear that thick dark cloud that you get in the winter in this country. It always feels like it's weighing me down, so I'm very pleased that that has gone. So let me give you a few reminders. If you're watching this on the replay, they may also be useful to you depending on when you watch this. I know I have people that always watch this on YouTube, so if you're watching it soon after the 17th, they'll be relevant for you too. My Fancy Fold Cards class, today is the last day to book and pay for that. I'll be placing the orders later on today after 5, and then that will be that. That is running in January. Mary is here. She says the sound is fine. Fabulous. Thank you so much, Mary. That is ever so helpful. And it's still cloudy where you are. Gosh, well, you don't live very far from me, do you? So hopefully it's blowing over towards you and you'll get some blue sky a little bit later. It's so funny how local the weather can be. I know we have a microclimate here around Leamington, but Mary is not very far from me at all. I don't know how far it is, Mary. A couple of miles maybe. So yes, hopefully you'll get some blue sky. And Maureen is here. Hello, Maureen, and welcome. All right, some of you know that there has been an IT issue with our Stampin' Up warehouse in Germany, and orders for the UK have not been allowed to leave because the software wasn't processing them. And you know, no, we don't get people doing anything anymore, do we? It's all down to the software. So when it goes wrong, it's extremely frustrating. So things have been held up there for quite a few days. However, last night they managed to put some kind of patch on it. I have no idea what that means, except they think they fixed it. So fortunately, things started moving pretty much immediately. I had 3 parcels, 2 destined to come here and 1 for one of my customers, and they actually left the warehouse last night and they've arrived in Frankfurt, and we're just waiting now for them to clear customs and come across the channel. So that is good news. So if you have been waiting for anything, I'm hoping that it is now on its way. The retiring list is carrying on. The July to December, trying to get my months around the right way, July to December mini catalogue is ending on the 3rd of January. I've been talking about the retiring list for quite some time now. If you want anything from that catalogue, there is a chance that you may not be able to get it after the 3rd of January or even before. Quite a lot of things have now sold out. Some of them are reduced, some of the things are not yet reduced, or haven't been reduced, I should say. Some of the things are carrying over, so make sure that you check out the links and the lists. You can see all the lists on my website, which is sallybowman.stampinup.net. And if you click on the shop button, and then you will see that there is a drop down menu, and you'll find the retiring list there. I think they're calling it the last chance list. Actually, I've been calling it the retiring list, but I think Stampin' Up have updated it to the last chance list. Maureen's saying hello to everyone. Thank you, Maureen, and hello back to you. What's really exciting though, with one catalogue ending, another catalogue is starting. So on the 4th of January, the new mini catalogue will be starting, and I do have some sneak peeks for you today of just one of the suites from that catalogue. I have a large box of goodies over there, which I'm planning on playing with over the Christmas holiday, and I will be doing 2 lives the first week of January, one on the 4th of January, which is the day that the catalogue goes live, and one as usual on the 7th of January, which is the Friday. Both those lives start at 2 o'clock. They will both sit here on my Facebook page for you to watch afterwards, or indeed you can go over to my YouTube channel where I will upload them as soon as I can once I've finished. I've done Facebook events for them as reminders. I'm putting down that they'll probably be a bit longer, so I've put down 2 till 3:30. It just depends how much I talk about all the lovely new things. I have a lot of new things to show you. I'll be doing some crafting, I'll be showing you some samples, and I really hope that you'll be able to join me either live or afterwards. January the 4th is my first day back after my Christmas break. So at the end of today, 5 o'clock today, that's it, I'm stopping for Christmas. I will be dealing with any orders that get delivered. So if you are waiting for something and it gets delivered, I will be in touch with you, and you will be able to come and pick it up if you would like to. You won't have to, you can wait until the new year and that will be fine. But I will be dealing with orders, but that's all I will be dealing with over the Christmas break. I've got to that point, those of you who've been with me a while will have seen this before, where I'm making all kinds of mistakes, and that's a sure sign to me that mentally I need to take a break from things. And so I am actually going to take a proper break through the holidays. You will see something pop up on my Facebook page at least once every day. Most days there'll be two little posts. That's because I can schedule those in advance, so I will be finishing doing those today, and then they will just pop up automatically, but I won't be there. So, so don't worry about that if I don't reply to your comments. It's because I'm taking a break, but I will be back on the 4th of January with new goodies for you. And Celebration starts in January as well. Very exciting. I'll be telling you all about that on the 4th. But put briefly, there are 3 ways to get free goodies during Celebration, and it starts on the 4th of January and it goes through to the end of February. You can shop. For every £45 you spend, you can choose an item from the special Celebration brochure. And there are some items in there which are kind of double items. They're bigger or more costly, or they have 2 things in the pack, and those are for a £90 spend. Or if you spend £90, you can choose 2 items for the £45 spend, which hopefully makes sense to you. I know most of you have been through Celebration before. So that's shop. You can join Stampin' Up. Always a fantastic deal. You always get £31 worth of free products of your choice, not ours, your choice. But during Celebration, you can also choose any 2 stamp sets you like, either from the new mini catalogue or from the annual catalogue, and they'll get added in as well. And then there are ongoing benefits when you join Stampin' Up. You can come to my crafting events. Some of them are live, some of them are online, the ones I put on for my team. There is an ongoing discount for you of at least 20%. You get to meet lots of really new, lovely crafting friends, and there are so many more things. So I'll be telling you more about that after Christmas. And finally, spend. So if you get some Christmas money and you place a big order for £275 or more, then there is an additional free stamp set for you. So fantastic. You already get your Celebration rewards, so you'll get one for every £45 you spend, but if you hit that magic sum of £275, then you get an extra free stamp set. So look out for Celebration, it's coming. And I think that is everything that I had to say to you. Let me just see if I've got any more messages. No, I haven't. So I'm going to do my usual thing of covering you over, moving the camera down to my desk. I'm going to show you a sneak peek of my sweet sampler for January, which is new products, and we'll do some crafting. Crafting today is thank you cards, because I think it's always handy to have a few of those stashed away this time of year. And I decided as I was preparing for it that I would actually use some card sketches. So I'll be showing you those as well, and showing you how you can make something completely different to what I have, but using the same layout. So it's a great time saver for designing, and it means you don't have to keep making exactly the same project. So I will try and remember to keep talking to you while I cover that over. And I need to, as always, press one of these buttons and hope that I've pressed the right one and it's registered. Why it does not indicate when it's been pressed, I just cannot understand. I mean, why wouldn't you? Everything else you press, when you press it, you get some indication that the button's pressed. It used to go blue. That was perfect. You could instantly see if you had pressed the reverse the image button, and that means that everything I do is not back to front for you. It mirror images all the words, so it's really quite important. But they took it away. Never mind. Right, I'm revealing you now, or revealing me now actually. Revealing myself to you, I should be saying, and let's see how that is. Okay, there's always a little bit of sorting things out. I don't know if I can get rid of that tripod leg from your view. I'm not sure that I can. I need to hook some leads out of the way. Let's do that. And let's try and get this to where you can see it better. There we go. I might be able to get rid of the tripod legs a little bit for you. I might not. Let's see. Victoria's here. Hello, Victoria. How nice to have you. Welcome, welcome. All right, so I am just going to flash the new catalogue covers to you. I can't show you what's inside. That is absolutely forbidden. But this is the new mini catalogue. I've got these all ready to send out. I'll be posting them between Christmas and New Year. So just as all the excitement has finished, you will be able to sit down with a cup of tea or a mug of hot chocolate and have a little flick through this. I'll also be sending you out the Celebration brochure. Again, I'm not allowed to show you what's inside. There's a little bit of a clue here. I think it's a fabulous brochure this time round. I've been able to earn some of the products early so that I can play with them and show you, and I think you're going to love it personally. So let me move those out of the way. And I'm going to continue with the kind of sneak peek theme, and I'm going to show you the sweet sampler that I'm doing for January. So those of you who've been with me for a while know that I do one of these most months, and it consists of partial packs of items that are in one of the suites in the catalogue. So I've picked the Heart and Home suite, which is in the new catalogue, and of course I can't show you the page in the catalogue because I'm not allowed to do that until it goes live. But there's a really interesting mix of colours, quite unexpected I think in this paper. And in the sweet sampler pack you're going to get 6 sheets of A4 card. So I've got the colours for those here, which of course coordinate with the other things you'll be getting. So there's Misty Moonlight, Basic Grey, Cinnamon Cider, Garden Green, Pale Papaya and Fresh Freesia. You're also going to get half a pack of the Heart and Home patterned paper. Now this is really pretty, and I'm going to show you one side and then I'm going to turn it over. I think this paper is fantastic. It's got a kind of a vintage feel to it on one side. We've got pretty florals here. Then we've got almost like a tile pattern. This I think is great for men's cards. So although there are flowers in the pack, you've also got designs which are great for men. There's a really nice all over leaf print. Again, this is fantastic for men's cards too. We've got another one of those floral ones. This time it's a directional one with these sprays. Then there's an all over one in this really pretty fresh freesia and white. And then this one, which is my personal favourite, which is cinnamon cider background, and it's got pale papaya and grey on it. And let me lift it up, it's all bees. And I haven't got them to show you today, but there are dies which cut out the bees from the paper, as well as there are stamps for bees which you can also cut out. So I think this is gorgeous. I'm struggling to use any of this paper because it's my favourite. But what is genius with this paper is when you turn it over, you have something completely different. On the back of these, they are all wood grain textures, which is really, I think, quite unexpected. So you've got pretty florals and interesting prints on one side, and then on the back you have all these different wood grains, which are fantastic for backgrounds, of course perfect for men's cards. And I bet you will have things in your stash that you can use with these. Anything floral will work with these beautifully. Anything bees, butterflies, dragonflies. I'm just looking for that last one which I've hidden. There we are. And of course, if you've got stamps or dies for things like garden sheds or anything else, then you can also use these. You can ink over the top of them to change the colour of the wood. So it's white with a grey, but of course you can make that any colour wood you like, whether it's walnut or pine or birch, anything at all. And you can also stamp on this, which I'm going to be doing in a minute. So you get a quarter of a pack of the paper, 6 sheets of A4 card. You will get half a pack of the coordinating doilies. Now I've only got 3 here, but you can see there are 3 colours, and let me just turn the paper over again so you can see how nicely they coordinate here. You'll get half a pack, so you'll get 15 doilies, 5 of each of these colours, and they're a good size as well. And they've got this little perforation in the centre, and of course you can nestle a circle in there with stamping on it or a sentiment perfectly. So they're really nice. You'll get 2 meters of this denim ribbon. It looks like denim. Let me lay it on something, it might be easier to see then. But it's actually very, very soft. It's a really soft ribbon, so it doesn't feel like denim at all, and it ties really nicely, it drapes. And I would definitely use this on a masculine card. Maybe not a bow, maybe I just tie a knot, or just lay a strip across, or use it as an edging, but it's perfect for everything. So I think this is one of those few sweets where you can make cards or other projects for absolutely anybody. And then finally, you have a half a pack of a new embellishment. These are classic matte dots. So they're self-adhesive dots. Let me just lift them up on a piece of card. So you've got 2 sizes. This is a half a pack here. You can see how many you get. So you've got black, basic grey, very vanilla, and white. So these are going to go with absolutely everything, as well as with the other things in the sampler. So that is the Heart and Home Sweet sampler, and you will notice some of these things being used by me in a minute. You need to order that by the last Friday in January, which is January the 7th. Just waiting for my iPad to catch up. Can you see that? Just about, I think you can. Order by January the 7th. I will have it ready for you to collect, or I will post it to you on the 28th of January, and that little bundle is £12 collected, or £14 if you would like it posted to you. So that is my first sweet sampler of next year. If you're interested in that, you can just send me an email, and I haven't got my little slip of paper with my email address on. That's what I've forgotten today. There's always something, so let me write it down here. Handmade at home, that's all one word, at hotmail.co.uk. So just drop me an email and say you would like one of those, and then I can sort everything out for you. Okay, Oh, so Kay is saying, yes, please, posted. Lovely, Kay. Thank you very much. I will contact you. I'm just writing that down here so I don't forget. A posted sampler. Perfect. Thank you. All right, so that is that. I'm just going to clear the decks a little bit and I'm going to bring in the first project. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to have some tea first, if you don't mind, because I can feel my throat getting dry. My husband has had a terrible cold all week. We all panicked, of course, to start with. He's done several lateral flow tests. They're all negative. And I have to say, you know, it started with a sore throat. Then he got a bunged up nose and a headache and sort of sinus pain. And the last 24, 48 hours, he's had, well, he's coughing for England, this awful chesty cough. So he's not feeling great. He's been working from home this week. I'm trying to convince him to stop working and just go sick, but he says he's got too much to do. But I feel a bit like my throat is coming out in sympathy with him. It feels very dry. It's not a sore throat though, fingers crossed. I love him to bits, but I've kept well away from him, so I'm hoping I won't catch it. Right, I'm just going to have to unclip my microphone and reach my project, so bear with me while I do that. All right, click me back up here. All right, so I knew I was going to make thank you cards. I knew I wanted to use the Heart and Home suite to show you it in action, as it were. And as always, I look at the products and I decide how I'm going to start with my design. And this time I thought it would be fun to start with some sketches. I've talked to you about card sketches before. I find them a really helpful way of jump starting my design process. I don't always use them, but sometimes I do. So for this card, this is the sketch that I used. So I've got the outline of a card there. I've got a layer here which is split across the middle, and then I've got a square shape here, and those squiggles indicate a sentiment. So that was the sketch that I started off with, and I've got a completed card here to show you, and then I'm going to make one. So let's move that across. That's my completed card. So hopefully you can see the sketch at work there. I added an extra layer here. I added ribbon across here. So instead of having two separate pieces, I had one piece of patterned paper with ribbon, and I used rectangles instead of a square. But that is essentially my card. So I'm very pleased with that. I've used some of this beautiful paper that is retiring, which I'm going to be very sad to see go. And what I'm going to do now is make a similar card, but using totally different products. So let's move that out of the way. And I've got more comments here. Oh, Maureen saying, yes, please, in the post, looks fab. It is fab, Maureen. Thank you very much indeed. I will be in touch. And Mary would like one collected. Thank you, Mary. Again, I will be in touch. And Marjorie is saying hello to everyone and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Marjorie. Thank you. Okay, I'm just scrolling up to make sure I don't think I've missed anything. Okay, so I thought, right, which colour shall I use? So I've gone with Misty Moonlight, and I've used some of this beautiful new paper here. And I'm going to use some of the denim ribbon, which looks beautiful. So I've actually ended up with a monochrome card, which is not something I very often do, but I think I'm going to really like this. I have Misty Moonlight ink, and I'm using the same sentiment stamp, which says little card, big thanks. And that's from Flowers of Friendship. I love this set. I know some of you have got it. There is a punch which punches out the flowers and the petals for these flowers and the leaves. And it's got some really nice sentiments on it. Thank you for everything. Many thanks from all of us. And little card, big thanks, which I use a lot. I really like that one. So let's get started then. I have a basic white card base here, and I actually wrote out the measurements for you as well, which I'm hoping you can see. So my card base measures 11.5 inches by 4 inches. and I've scored it at 5 3/4 inches. So this is thick basic white. The ordinary basic white is fabulous card for stamping on, but it's not really strong enough to make a card base. And then I have a layer of Misty Moonlight card, which is 5.5 by 3 3/4 inches. And I've written DSP on here. I know a lot of you call it DSP, but that stands for Designer Series Paper. So it's this patterned paper. And that is just 1/8 of an inch smaller than my contrast card. So my patterned paper is 5 3/8 inches by 3 5/8 of an inch. So I'm just going to layer these up. I wrote an insert measurement on there because that's what I used on my original card, and my insert was 5.5 by 3 3/4 of an inch. I'm not sure yet whether I will use one on this white card or not. I probably will, just to be on the safe side in case I stamp my card base and then mess it up, as it has been known. There we are. Oh, and I know what I've done. Look at this. I'm just going to whip that off very quickly because I've forgotten the ribbon. No, forgotten the ribbon. Okay. So had I not forgotten the ribbon, I would have wrapped it around the paper and then stuck the paper to the patterned paper. Stuck the paper to the Misty Moonlight card, but given that I glued them both together because I was too busy chatting, I'm going to wrap this round the card and paper together. It doesn't look very different and it will certainly work absolutely fine. So I need my bow to be slightly off center. I'll probably need to just swivel it along a little bit in a minute to allow me space to put my sentiment over the top. So I'm just tying this ribbon round. There we go. And if it doesn't want to sit exactly as I want it to, I can always use a glue dot or two just to wrestle it into submission. I've inevitably glued that to my grid paper, but that's okay. This is this is real life crafting. Can you tell? Hoping I'm not the only person who's done things like that. There we go. Okay, and I've just realised I haven't actually cut a contrast Misty Moonlight layer for this, have I? So I might have to go and do that in a minute off camera. So let's just trim my ribbon. I do really like this ribbon. It's got a very matte look to it. Okay, now I can stick this onto my card base, and I am just going to move that ribbon over just a little bit, that bow, just so it's a bit further over to the left. And you can see it's kind of sitting on a diagonal, but I'm going to sort that out with a glue dot. So that's not a worry. Kay is saying Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you, Kay. We've all got our fingers crossed for Christmas, haven't we? That the weather's going to be okay, and we're all going to stay fit and healthy, and nobody's going to change any rules, so we can do what we want to do this year. I think people generally are being pretty sensible. Certainly the ones I know are being sensible. Nobody's going wild that I know of and holding massive parties or anything like that. And I am going to just, I can't find my bin. Just going to throw that on the floor. Where's my bin? There it is. I'm just going to turn my grid paper over because I've got a very sticky patch there. There we go. This is better, isn't it? Right, now bear with me because I am going to go and die cut a Misty Moonlight layer to go behind this, because that's not quite big enough. I need some Misty Moonlight. The dies I'm using are Stitched So Sweetly. You've seen me use these loads of times. So I've used the second smallest for the white, and I'm going to use the third smallest for my layer of Misty Moonlight. These are such a useful set of dies. I really love them, and I like that you've got a set of nesting stitched scalloped rectangles like that with all the sizes, but then you've also got this sort of eclectic mix here of different shapes that you can mix and match with them. Love it. Stitched so sweetly. If you haven't got it, put it on your wish list. Right, I'm going to leave you with that to look at, and I'm just going to run across to my other table and cut one of these, so bear with me. There we go. I thought I'd done so well getting ready for this. There's always something I forget. Right, I'm going to pop that die back in the pack so I don't lose it. All right, so now I'm going to stamp my small label. Try and get it on there straight. There we go. So that's Misty Moonlight ink to coordinate with everything else. And then I'm going to pop this on here. And I have a horrible feeling I can't reach my stamping dimensionals. Goodness me. Did I say to you that I can tell when I need a holiday because I start making mistakes? There we go. Right, I'm just going to lean across and grab those. Okay, let's hope I've now got everything. Now this is going to sit on top of this ribbon, so I don't want to put dimensionals down the middle because I've already got a little bit of extra thickness where that ribbon is, so I'm just going to put them at the top and bottom of the label, and then the ribbon will sit in this channel here, so I shouldn't get any wobble then. There we are. So that's going to go on there. And then I'm just going to tuck a glue dot underneath that bow, which doesn't want to sit as straight as I would like it to. So I'm just going to pop it on my card, make sure my bow is how I want it, and then press it onto the glue dot, and now that will sit nice and straight like that. I think that end's a little bit long. I could have cut that better, couldn't I? Got some sticky on my scissors. There we go. All right, so that's my card front, and I am going to pop an insert in, I think, just to make sure that I don't mess anything up inside. I've got a little strip of patterned paper here. I always keep these little narrow strips because I do like to put patterned paper inside a card. If I've used it on the front, and I'm not actually going to stamp inside this card. I'm going to leave space to write what I'm saying thank you for, and so this will just add a little bit of interest to the inside in place of a stamped image. So I'll pop this in, and then I'm going to show you the two cards side by side. Something very clean about this blue and white combination. I really like that. All right, so there we go. Two cards using the same sketch. but not the same card at all, both looking really quite different, completely different colour combinations. All right, so let me clean off that stamp. And I will pop all that away and bring in the next project. So this is the sketch that I used this time. Again, I've got a rectangular card. This time it's portrait instead of landscape. And then I've just got 3 rectangles added to it. There's this one here, which is sort of tall and thin. There's this one, which is shorter and broader. And then just a narrow strip for a sentiment. And I'll show you the first card I made. And I'm going to drink some tea before I talk anymore. So there we go, that's that one. So if I lift that up a little bit, I've used the really gorgeous Pansy Petals paper on here. I decided that needed dusting off. I've neglected it a little bit and it is really pretty. I don't know if you can see, but I embossed this layer using the time-worn type embossing folder, which adds some really interesting texture without it being too distracting from the paper. I added a little gold bee because why not? And I just stamped my thank you on the sentiment strip there. So now I'm going to do one using the same card sketch, but using some of the things from the Heart and Home collection. Let me move those out of the way. So I have a garden green card base, a fresh freesia layer, which again I've embossed using the same embossing folder, time-worn type. Again, I don't know if it might show a little bit better on that lighter colour. Yes, I think it is. So that's my layer for there. Then I have a piece of the Heart and Home paper. So I've picked the one with the green leaves on it, which of course is the same green as my card base. And then I picked a piece of that pretty floral fresh freesia paper. And I did cut a garden green layer for it there because I just felt it was, although it was fine where it lays on here, it was getting a bit lost on top of the card. So I thought it was nice to have that contrast. And then finally I have a little sentiment strip here. Again, I've added the green behind it for where it overlaps on the paper here. So that is going to be my card, and I'm probably going to add some bling because, you know, why not? So I did think about putting on the matte dots, but I just wanted something with a little bit sparkle to it. So instead I've got the in colour jewels. I've got some of the fresh freesia ones there, so I think they're going to do the job nicely. So for this, other than stamping that sentiment strip, I haven't got very much to do except assemble it. I haven't given you the measurements, have I? Would you like those? Let me find them. There we are. So my card base is 8 inches by 5 3/4 inches. And I'm just looking at my embossing. There are some words on this, and although they're distressed, you can still see the letters. So I need to make sure I get it up the right way. And my embossed layer is 5 1/2 inches by 3 3/4 inches. I'm just going to take my insert out of there. Then my tall thin strip of patterned paper is 5 inches by 2 1/4 inches. And then my other piece of patterned paper is 3 inches by 2.5 inches. And I'm going to layer this onto some card that is just 1/8 of an inch bigger in both directions. So my garden green card is 3 1/8 of an inch by 2 5/8 of an inch. Just gives me that really narrow little border all the way around. And I'm going to glue that down as well. I could use dimensionals, but I think I'm just going to stick this flat. And then I'm going to stamp on here. And I'm using this stamp on my final project as well, which is why I didn't have it immediately to hand. There we are. So this is the thank you from Blossoms in Bloom. I love the font on these. So it's just the thank you one from there. And because it's a photopolymer stamp, I've got my mat here just to give me a little bit of extra softness so I can get a good image. There we go, and I've stamped that in garden green ink. And I'm going to layer that onto a piece of garden green card. So this sentiment strip, it depends of course on which stamp you're using. If you're using the same one as me, then my measurements will work. And this white card, basic white, is 1/2 inch by 1 3/4 of an inch. And my garden green card is 1/8 of an inch bigger both ways, which means that it is 5/8 of an inch by 1 7/8 of an inch. So I am going to pop that one up on some dimensionals, I think. Let's just pop that there. And then I just need some bling on here. And I'm just looking for my knife. There we go, just so I can slide these up. There we are. So that's card number 2 finished. I'm tilting it so you can hopefully see you've got this gorgeous iridescence on the jewels. And let me show you the first card so you can see the layout is the same, but they are, other than that, they're very different. So it's a nice way of making 2 different cards but without having to design 2 different cards. Okay, so that is that one. Just clean that stamp because I'm going to need it again. And then my final card, I'm just trying to find the sketch to show you first of all. Is this one. So not entirely dissimilar to the last one, but I've got my words in a different place and the rectangular layers are different. So again, a portrait card with a layer here, a smaller rectangle there, and a sentiment strip there. So the one I made from the beautiful Blackberry Beauty card is this one. I've also used some of the brushed metallic card on it, and I've stamped in Blackberry Bliss ink and then I've used that same thank you image there. Let me lift that up to show you. I'm really pleased with this one actually. I need a whole load more of thank you cards. I think I will make some more of these. All right, so for this one I'm going to use a pale papaya base with garden green as my contrast, and I've got some of this really pretty floral paper here. I'm going to use the wood grain side here to stamp on, and to also stamp on that little piece as well for my sentiment. And I cut two actually. I might use this one because it's a paler print of the wood grain there, and then I've got a piece there to go on my insert. So the measurements for this card, my card base is 8 inches by 5 3/4, scored landscape at 4 inches. My contrast card layer, this large one, is 5.5 by 3 3/4 inches, and the patterned paper to go on top of that is 5 3/8 inches by 3 5/8 of an inch. So I'll stop there with the measurements, and I'll just stick these layers together first of all. And then I am going to bring out the stamps which coordinate with this suite, or are included in the suite. They coordinate with the paper, and I'm going to use one of those to stamp on my wood grain paper. There we are. So that's the beginnings of that already. So now I'm going to do some stamping. And let me find the stamp set. So there are 2 stamp sets in this suite: Blessings of Home and Honeybee Home. So the Honeybee Home has these 3 absolutely gorgeous honeybees on it, and there are dies that coordinate and to cut those out, as well as cutting them from the patterned paper. You've got 3 different floral images, some nice words: best of luck, such happy news, so glad we're family, miss you, and then there's stay wonderful and you're the nicest. And then the other set, Blessings of Home, again has got images and sentiments. So there's this big floral image here, there's this little spray of flowers here, and then thank you for inspiring me. And actually this is a really easy stamp to mask, so you can just use the thank you. You don't have to add the other words. Have a perfect birthday. We can get through anything together. What a beautiful day for love. You are a real blessing to everyone around you. So I think those are really nice. And there's quite a lot of shading on these images, so you don't have to colour them in if you don't want to. I am going to add a little bit of colour today, and I thought I would get my soft pastels out because I haven't played with those for a little while either. So we'll have a little bit of a play with those. All right, I'm just making a little bit of space here because, as usual, I started off with a pretty much empty desk and I've ended up working in an area that's about 12 inches square. All right, I have my basic grey ink pad here, and I have this new image stamp with the flowers on it, and these flowers are ones which appear in the patterned paper, so the coordination is perfect. So I'm going to stamp on top of this paper. I already said to you that this is great for stamping on. There we go. And you can, if you like vintage images, then this is a perfect set because you can do lots to make the flowers look quite vintage, but I'm actually just going to add some of the chalk pastels to them. So I've got a scrap of card here, And what I'm going to do is scribble my pastels onto here and then apply them to this. I really do just want a hint of colour. My patterned paper is very pale and pretty and very, very pastel-y. So I don't want great bright pops of colour on here. I want to kind of keep it at one with that. Now if I look in my pastel set, the colours are all listed on here. We've got Coastal Cabana, Daffodil Delight and so on. I haven't got Pale Papaya, I haven't got Garden Green, and I haven't got Fresh Freesia. So I'm going to make those colours, and that's where my little piece of card comes in. It's going to be a palette. So first of all I'm going to go with Pale Papaya. So I'm going to add the Daffodil Delight pastel. I'm just going to scribble some on here and then I'll be able to pick it up from there. I'm going to scribble some of the Mango Melody and just a tiny bit of, I think this one's Poppy Parade. Yes, Poppy Parade. Just to bring in some orange, because yellow and red makes orange, as I'm sure you know. And then I've got some of these to apply my pastels with. I usually go straight onto the paper, or I use a sponge dauber or even one of the ink blending brushes. But these areas that I want to colour are so small that I think one of these little makeup, they're like cotton buds but they're for makeup, is going to be ideal. So I'm going to use this nice flat end. So first of all I'm just going to mix these colours a little bit, and then I'm going to test out the colour. It's got quite a lot of orange in it. That looks a bit better, and I just want a hint of colour. So I'm going to colour these two larger flowers, and I'm just rubbing really the colour onto the paper. I'll show you the patterned paper again in a moment, and you will see that they've left a lot of white space on the flowers. They've coloured the parts of the flower which are close to the centre, and then they've left the rest of it white. There we go. I'm just going to blow the dust off that and show you that that's just added a hint of colour to that. And if I put it against this, it's not identical colours, but I think it's close enough, and certainly once I get this onto a little layer of contrast card, I think that's going to work just fine. So next I want my Fresh Freesia colour for these other little flowers here. Now the only purple I've got is this one, which is actually Gorgeous Grape, which is a very intense purple. So I'm just going to use a very small amount of it. I'm going to use the other side of this. In fact, I'm not. I think I'm going to use the pointy end, because I'm going to colour in the very little flowers. Now you can see that that is actually quite a delicate shade of purple there now. So I'm just rubbing a little bit of that colour on here. Again, I'm just looking for a hint of colour. I don't need lots of vibrancy. There we are. So that's now just added some very pale purple colour to it. Not sure how well the camera is picking that up, but hopefully when it's finished you will be able to see. And then finally I need green. Now Garden Green is the green in this, which is quite a dark blue green. So again I'm going to have to mix my own. So I'm going to use some of the Mossy Meadow, which is a deep green. A little bit of, I think this is Granny Apple Green, just checking, yes, Granny Apple Green, just to lighten that green a bit, and then a little bit of blue. This is Pacific Point, because Garden Green is, it's quite a blue green. It's not as blue green as Shaded Spruce is, but it's certainly not a yellowy green. So I'm going to use my flat makeup cotton bud there, mix these round, and then just test my green there. So I'm going to add a little bit more blue into my mix and just try that again, see how that's looking. Yeah, that's a little bit greener which I know sounds odd given that I've just put blue in there, but there we are. So again, I just need a hint of garden green, and I'm not trying to colour perfectly. And I'm actually going to use the pointy end of this for the stems. Again, I don't need lots and lots of colour on them, just a little bit. So I've added some to all the leaves. Just blow that dust off. And I'm hoping you'll be able to see that. Still getting used to where to hold things under this new camera stand. There we are. I think you can see the purple on that at long last. So that's added some colour. Let me put my pastels away. Get rid of that palette. And then I can glue these layers together. So my patterned paper was 4 inches by 2 inches. And my garden green layer is 4 1/8 of an inch by 2 1/8 of an inch. There we are. And then I'm going to just layer this on there. Okay, the final step then is my little sentiment strip, which I've pushed across the desk somewhere. Here it is. So again, I'm stamping on a little bit of that wood grain paper, and I've cut a piece that hasn't got too much dark grey on it so that I don't obscure the words too much. And I'm using that same thank you from Blossoms in Bloom. And basic grey ink again. There we are. It's also a nice way to use an incredibly tiny scrap of patterned paper, which I must admit would otherwise have gone into the bin. And then I'm going to pop that there. This is really looking like quite a vintage style card. I'm pleased with this one. I didn't actually make cards like this. I designed the original card I showed you. I cut all the pieces from this new suite, but I didn't actually make the cards. So I'm slightly surprised when I see them made up as well, because it's a first. Haven't done these before. There we go, and pop that there. Now again, I feel that this needs a little something to lift it, and why not give you another sneak peek? This is one of my absolute favourites from the new catalogue. These are called Iridescent Rhinestones Basic Jewels, and they really are iridescent. So there are 3 sizes in a pack. I've used some of these already, as you can see, and if I tilt them, I'm really hoping the light is catching them. They've got pink in them and yellow and blue. They are absolutely gorgeous. Much more interesting than ordinary rhinestones. So I'm going to add probably 3 of those. Let's have a look. I don't know if this big one is going to be too big for this. Let's see. No, I think that's okay. They are subtle, but also they're interesting. And when you get just a couple of them down, they're not as blingy as they might appear when you see them in the packet. So there's just a little something on there. And that is my finished card. So again, I will show it to you with the other one I did. Let me just pop these rhinestones back in their bag. Actually, I haven't done the insert. I will do that. But two completely different looking cards actually, but the sketch is the same. Okay, so I'll move that one back. I've got my strip of patterned paper and I have my insert here. So my patterned paper is about 1/2 inch wide and my insert is 5.5 inches by 3 3/4 inch. This paper strip is literally just a bit that I was trimming off, so I just save those and I use them largely for inserts, but also they will be great for stamping on from this particular pack like we did earlier. Ooh, and I've got sticky glue there. Where's my glue eraser? That's better. Slide that down, whoops, just a little bit, or even take it off and try again. That was really not straight. Okay, that's better. There we are. So that is my third card done. 3 thank you cards, all using the beautiful new Heart and Home suite. So let me put them all out for you to see. I will sit back out of the way and finish my tea while you have a quick look at those. You've all gone very quiet, so I'm hoping you're all still there. My little screen tells me I'm still live and that the internet has not dropped out, so all being well, we are okay. All right, so I'm just going to bring you back up so I can say a goodbye and a happy Christmas to you. Cover you over so you don't get motion sick, hopefully. And let's take the reverse camera off, hopefully. Excellent, I think we're there. Thank you, Mary. You are very welcome. And Mary hopes that everyone has a happy Christmas too. I very much hope you have a wonderful Christmas. I hope you stay healthy. I hope you can see and maybe even hug all the people that you are hoping to. I hope that Father Christmas brings you some very nice things, because I know you've all been very good this year. And I hope that the new year is a really good year for all of us. I don't know what it's going to bring, but we're going to keep smiling, we're going to keep crafting, so it won't all be bad. Thank you so much for all your support this year. I am so grateful for you all joining me on Friday afternoons, whether it's live or whether it's afterwards on Facebook or afterwards on YouTube. I really enjoy crafting with you all. I've got 3 people down for the Heart and Home Suite Sampler, Kay, Maureen and Mary. So if you want to be added to that list, please let me know. You can email me handmadeathome@hotmail.co.uk and I will organise that for you. If you can like and share this video, it helps me get seen by other people who might not otherwise know that they can craft with me on a Friday. And I will look forward very much indeed to seeing you next year, the 4th of January, which is a Tuesday at 2 o'clock, and then as usual on Friday the 7th of January. Have a wonderful Christmas. Bye bye.